Okay, so what you want to start to do is just pin down from the very top edge of the waistband all the way down to the edge of the curve and stop at the end here. Okay, so make sure your presser foot is down and needle in. Don't forget that reverse stitch at the top. Remove your pins as you go along and keep the fabric in line with the 15 guide as you sew along. Zoom in there. Yeah, big finger, look there. Yeah, so just keep your fabric in line at all times. Sorry, just in the camera angle there. Just obviously adjusting it where you go. Stop. Remove your pins. You know how to sew. Okay, so here I'm just adjusting my fabric and I'm just pulling that curve straight so it looks like you're sewing a straight line, and then that way it doesn't look so daunting when you're sewing. We're still trying to keep the fabric in line with the 15. With our left hand we're adjusting the fabric and moving the pin with our right hand, and all the way to the bottom and finished with a reverse stitch. Repeat the process on the other leg. Okay, so with the seam done from the top of the waistband, open up the full piece. The waistband should be at the top and the floppy bits at the bottom. Okay, so once you've done that, open up your fronts and open up your backs, and just make sure that the seams are facing outwards and the neat edges are facing inwards together. Next, you're going to line up your side seams, so make sure the edges are parallel together. Then just add 4 pins down the side, bobble facing outwards to the bottom. Repeat on the other side. You might have an overlap. This is perfectly normal. Do not cut out the edge of the fabric. That's a no-no. And also, do not stitch them as they are. Do what you did on the other side. Line the 2 edges up, just like the other side, with pins. And then add 4 pins again, just like before. Next, on the sewing machine, you're going to go forwards a centimetre and back a centimetre, making sure to stop and then remove your pin, keeping in line with the 15 guide at all times, and go forward with a straight stitch all the way down, stop in, remove the pin, and continue to the end and reverse stitch when you get at the end. You should have then a straight stitch on both side seams of the shorts, one straight line using your 15 guide, left and right. Next, you want to change your machine to a zigzag stitch. So number 12, top slider will be 4 and the bottom slider will be on 2. So just zooming in there, is going from a 13 to number 12. Next, we are going to zigzag in the gap. Using your presser foot as a guide, move along between the gap. Here's the finished result. Now complete on the other side. Also remember to zigzag down the center front and the center back. Next, we're going to join up the flappy bits or the crotch. Line up the two seams first, put a pin in and then pin out to the right and to the left and straight stitch. Make sure you stitch straight across over the seam and then zigzag. Once all your zigzags have been done, we will then move up to the waistband. We are going to turn it over just a centimetre or around a finger's width and stitch all the way around. When pinning, pin at each seam where they meet and then put a pin between each seam, so it takes about 8 pins altogether, making sure that we don't pin the front to the back. And then we are going to stitch in the center of the fold along in a straight stitch all the way around. This is the end result. Next, we're going to fold over for the elastic channel, roughly 2 finger widths or 3 to 4 centimeters. Put 2 pins vertical to mark the gap between the stitches, and then we're going to follow the existing stitch. Start at the first pin, reverse stitch, and continue all the way around until you finish at the other pin, ensuring to stitch on top of your existing stitching as a guideline. When you get to the other pin, stop, reverse stitch. For the elastic, you want to measure yourself and take off 15 centimeters from the measurement. So for 65 centimeters of elastic, you would need to be measuring at 80 centimeters minus the 15, giving you 65. Next, place the safety pin on one end of the elastic. Thread through the gap that we just left and pull through along the channel all the way around. Next, take the safety pin off and the pin and lay the two ends parallel on top of each other, and then secure with a stitch and a reverse stitch, forwards and back about 3 times. Looks messy, but it should be nice and secure on both sides. Next, stitch up the gap that you left previously to secure the elastic in the waistband. In this last step, we're going to finally hem the shorts by double turning up the fabric and stitching on the inside folded edge all the way around. Here are your pins. It takes about 8 pins altogether, and then we're going to pin all the way around, double turned, and stitch on this inside folded edge, straight stitch. Little tip, always keep the ball of the pin facing you so they are easy to remove. And voila, that's one hem done. Now go and do the other leg to finish. So congratulations, here are your final shorts, all hemmed. The next step now is to dye them, so we can scrunch them in a style you want your pattern to be, and then put them in the dye.